This video is sponsored by Insta360, so it's not really a review, it's more like a showcase. This is the brand new... Wait, hold on a second. Better. This is the brand new Insta360 Go Ultra, and I have never had a camera that I can control with my ring. And I gotta say, I think I made a mistake. I started testing this thinking this is an action camera. All right, let's start doing action things like, you know, go electric surfing at the cottage, cool action stuff. Let's see how this is as an action camera. And I actually don't think that this is an action camera. I think we have a kind of a new category of cameras, what I would call lifestyle cameras. Guys, hear me out. I've been thinking about a new category of cameras. Lifestyle cameras. The worst name. We're gonna have to workshop something better. But what I mean by lifestyle cameras is cameras that you're not necessarily trying to capture action moments or cinematic stuff, client work, or any of that stuff. You're just trying to capture your life, memories, maybe memory camera, that's still lame. You're trying to capture everyday life, the little moments, and I think that's like becoming more and more important for me as a dad and getting older and feeling like, oh man, life is just flying by. There are cameras that are purely meant for capturing your life. And I would place the iPhone in that category. I would place a lot of action cameras that kind of like double up as a lifestyle camera. I think the Osmo Pocket is in that category. Even the X5, this is a 360 camera from Insta360. At first I was like, no, this isn't a lifestyle camera. To me, it's an action. But I think actually, like if you think about it, what better way to capture your whole life than a 360 camera that captures everything? So I would also place the X5 in this like lifestyle camera category. And that doesn't mean that this isn't an action camera or this isn't an action camera. These are still also action cameras, but I think I need to like recalibrate how I think about this specific demographic, what are these words I'm saying? This category of cameras. Because once I flipped that switch, all of a sudden I thought very differently about this camera. And I think some people have already figured this out before me. And those are usually the people that really love the older Go's. They're like, oh, I use it all the time. I'm like, really, that camera? And now I'm starting to see it, especially with the Ultra. All right, stats. We got 4K 60 frames per second. That is really nice. Now there is like a tiny little crop I noticed in the 60 frames per second, but still very nice. Removable SD card, so you're not gonna run out of space and then have to offload. You can just change the memory card, so that's really nice. You can pair this to Find My Phone or Find My Device on your Apple phone. So you can actually, if you lose it, you can find it super easily. I actually think that that's such a good feature. OpenGate 4x3, that is super nice. I actually shoot almost all the time. Like right now I'm shooting OpenGate because you never know how you're gonna crop this or frame this. And so I just like having all of the options. I think OpenGate is incredible. You can always get rid of a little bit of top and bottom if you want later on, but OpenGate is awesome. Now it does only shoot up to 4K 30 frames per second in OpenGate. So yeah, and I think it does restrict some of the stabilization modes when you're in OpenGate. That's very understandable because you're using the whole sensor. And then this thing is actually, you might have noticed it, is wider now. So we went from 150 to 156 degree field of view. So yeah, that just gives us a little bit more extra. Now, honestly, for lifestyle cameras, that is important. On my iPhone, I use the ultra wide camera almost exclusively. Like I'm using it all of the time. I just think it's a really good way to capture everything that's going on in your life. We also now have active HDR because there's a better like basically chip in this camera now so that they could do active HDR. That is super important. That makes it much more comparable to the iPhone. For example, right now, it's not just all blowing out up there.
In the highlights, we're getting a lot better dynamic range, which makes the image quality a lot nicer on this camera. You do also get some other slow motions, for example, 120 frames per second in 2.7K. And there's a whole bunch of other different modes, time lapse and star lapse, and all of the different modes built into this thing. So that's pretty convenient too, that if you don't really know what you're doing with cameras, they've kind of just made it very, very easy for you to get all that stuff done. They also make this stick with start stop button, so that's super convenient. Actually, you can pop this little start stop button off and use it wherever you want. So you could even figure out 3D print your own little like device on your bike or wherever and just start stop straight off that. So super convenient. This is where the locals gather to feed the beavers. He's the beaver master. He's always here. Look at these guys. True Canadian experience right here.
Then that leaves the question of what makes this special, if anything at all. Well, I think this is still one of the coolest things. I didn't know what this was, and then I was like, what the heck? This is incredible. I could just start stop like that. Like, I've never had a camera like that before. So I'm gonna try to test this in some like real world scenarios and kind of figure out where does this Go Ultra stack up in this new category of lifestyle memory cameras. What do we call them?
Can I have an iced Americano, please, and thank you?
Are we doing a new video or are we like just testing it out for today?
Testing it out for the new video. You might be in the video. There's a little pendant under here.
Ah, okay.
Like this.
Yeah.
And then it clips to that.
Wait, that's so smart. Yeah.
Interestingly, you can control it from this little ring thing.
Whoa.
So you turn it on and off or start stop from here.
Oh my gosh, wait a minute, that's so cool.
Yeah, this is my favorite feature so far.
I'm like, I would be like geeking out about it.
Thanks for the coffee. Appreciate it. But this is like what I'm calling a lifestyle camera.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Where it's like you're capturing like your life. You're like a dad and you wanna, you know, capture your life and, you know, click it on and off here. It's easy.
I do like video recipes on Instagram, and I have the neck brace, and I just put my phone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
That's
fun.
like the same thing, yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Okay, that interaction was interesting. I don't know if people are just, you know, hyping the camera up because they're trying to be friendly, but right away everybody was really interested in it and be like, yo, yeah, I kind of do something like that with my iPhone or whatever. And so clearly there is this need for a lifestyle camera. This is what I'm calling it, a lifestyle. It's lame, I know. Oh, shoot. That is life right there.
So if the iPhone is the king of the lifestyle camera category, I think it's only fair that we compare these two. And I think we gotta compare them in specific categories. So we're gonna look at versatility, safety, battery, convenience, and image quality. And we'll find out, is the Go Ultra as good as the iPhone as your lifestyle camera? It's still the worst name. Versatility, I actually think the Go Ultra is the clear winner here. I think just with the way the whole system works and how many different mounts there are, like Insta360 has done a really good job of just making like every single kind of mount possible. I feel like anybody who's like, hey, you guys should make this, they make it. In terms of mounts, this seems like one of those like kind of like I would never use this, but it's actually quite interesting. So it's hidden, so it doesn't, you know, it's not obnoxious. And then you just take the Go Ultra and you pop it on there. And as you can see, it's quite inconspicuous. It's small. It's not, I barely even feel the weight. And then when I want to record, grab a memory, I'm playing with my kids, or I'm out, you know, traveling, or I'm on a hike, I'm recording, I'm getting everything. And then when I want to stop recording, that is pretty convenient. Like with the iPhone, I gotta pull it out of my pocket. Then I gotta get the camera app out, get fumbling around. Okay, there we go. And now recording. That's quite fast, but not as fast as just we're recording. So in some ways it's more convenient because it's so fast and easy to capture a moment, but then it does still require for me to carry this setup around and like get used to it. Like, oh, put on the pendant and then I'll have this around, and then when I want to capture a moment. There's a ring that controls it. So you have this on here, start stop on your finger.
I actually like that.
That's actually really cool. When I picked this up, I was like, that's another dumb one. And then I put it on, I was like, oh, actually, I like this a lot. Lifestyle cameras, guys. When I first saw these pendant mounts, I was like, that's pretty dumb. But now in the context of like these lifestyle cameras, I'm like, oh, actually, that's much more interesting now, because I could be at a concert and start recording. I could be hanging out with my friends, start recording, and I don't have to be like, hey guys, you know, like I'm just recording things as they're happening. And I think nobody would really pay attention to this, so we get really natural stuff. And it's kind of from my POV, so it's almost like I'm saving my memories. It's a memory camera. Next up, we're gonna test out the hack clip. I've never used one of these before. How do you? Oh, that is a tight fit. I guess you want it to be snug on there. Nice. All right, I think, yeah, I guess this is how people use it. So you could get like a top down. Let's say you're like, here's my FX3. I like this new little handle thing I got. It solves a lot of problems for me. Yeah, I guess this is pretty interesting. Like, you know, you want like a POV type situation. You look a bit silly, obviously, but in certain situations, this could be pretty cool. I get it. Those sick shots, by the way, were with this new little like mount that, so you just use these like rubber elastics. Whoop, that one went flying. And so you can put this on, like, I put it on the handlebars, I just put it on here. So you can put it there on handlebars, whatever. Put it there, got some sick angles. Super easy to use. This is what I'm talking about. Now let's say you're a bit of a filmmaker. We do also have ND filters, and these are really easy to use. You just grab your strength that you want, and all we gotta do is just unscrew the little lens cap, essentially. It's like a dual purpose lens cap, and now it is an ND filter. Super easy. I think a lot of action cameras or lifestyle cameras get this part wrong, and they make ND filters and they're just like impossible to get on and off and just so annoying. This is fast and easy. I'm still not sure if you really need this for like a lifestyle camera, but hey, it's nice to have the option. Like if you're doing like motorcycle stuff or whatever and you want to feel like the speed, the motion blur, having an ND filter is really nice. These sticky tabs are really great for when things aren't magnetic, but you still want to mount it in a cool, unique place. That went on crooked. Pop this in the case. And there we go. We have a cool angle now. And I've just been informed that the first 25 people to order the Go Ultra will get these sticky tabs for free. So that's nice. All right, this might be the dumbest or smartest thing I've ever done. I put one of the sticky mounts on the bottom of this can, cut it open. We still have drink in there. We're gonna stick this in there. We're gonna close it up, tape it up, and then grab a drink of sparkling water, my favorite. This is either gonna be an incredible shot or the dumbest shot, and you'll never see this in your life. Let's see. And with each new mount and way of filming with the Go, it just becomes more and more versatile. So I think the Go Ultra wins here. But that leads to the next one, which is safety. So one of the things I think I'm not as good at remembering this is that like our whole lives are in this device. And so if you drop it, there's a good chance it breaks. But even worse, if you're like, you know, in the mountains or you're on a boat or something and you drop it and the phone just disappears into the water, you're screwed. Your whole life is on this device and it's just like catastrophic. Whereas if this breaks, or you drop it or you lose it, at worst, you're just gonna lose some memories. Which would suck, obviously, but it's way better than losing your whole life. I think that's one of the biggest downsides of using the iPhone. It might be the biggest downside of using your iPhone as like your lifestyle camera, because it is so important, whereas this is much more replaceable. Convenience, probably one of the most important categories. I think it's hard to argue that the iPhone isn't the most convenient. I think it is so convenient because it's always in your pocket. Now, I will say the Go Ultra is very convenient with all the different mounts and how easy it is to use and how small it is and all this, but it still requires you to grab one extra device, even if it's tiny like this. It still requires me to take this with me everywhere, whereas this is always already going with me. It's like phone, keys. Actually, I don't have any keys anymore. Wallet and phone, they always go into your pockets right away. Quick question, what pocket do you carry your phone in? Front right is the right answer, if you're wondering. Insta360 also has their own wireless mic now, so you can just connect through Bluetooth to this, or you just plug in this little like receiver thing. And now we're getting audio through the lav mic here. We can just, hold on a second. We can use the little magnet here. And now we have a lav mic set up to our little camera here. And this is cool because like you can do things like this where just pop this on the shelf here. And now we're capturing everything. I'm gonna be talking. I can be capturing my life as I'm doing things very, very easily, very friction-free. I think that's what we're trying to go for, because the iPhone is so friction-free. This has to be more friction-free for us to really, really want to use this over the iPhone. And little things like this might actually help. Plus, a lot of people don't like risking their iPhones like I sometimes do. So that might be actually a really good selling point for having something like the Go Ultra as your like lifestyle capturing device camera instead of the iPhone. So the Ultra is very convenient when it's with you, but the iPhone is more convenient because it's always with you. Battery life, iPhone, point here, of course. I will say that the battery life is pretty good, and that's part of the reason I think they made this part, the part that comes out by itself, is a little bit bigger than on previous Goes, I think, just to have a little bit more battery life in here. They say that the standalone camera part, this part, lasts for 70 minutes with the action pod, that's I guess what this is called, 200 minutes, which is a pretty long time. But what makes this even better is that it fast charged from 0 to 80% in 12 minutes. So that is incredible. Like if you run out of battery, you can charge this up really, really fast, up to 80%. But obviously it's better if you don't have to charge. Now I will say, if you're filming a lot with your iPhone, you will drain your battery. And then again, we're in that problem of like, if this dies, our whole like our navigating, our messaging, our calling, everything dies. And so like it's really important this doesn't die. Again, this, if it runs out of battery, not the biggest deal. So that's something to keep in mind. But for battery life, iPhone still wins. If you're keeping score, we're at 2-2. So it's gonna come down to image quality, which interestingly enough for this category, now that I think of it, it's not as important, because like the most important thing is that you capture those memories and those moments, not that it's like the ultimate quality possible, if that makes sense. It's much more important that we actually get the moments than to get fewer moments in higher quality. I think that makes sense, right? And this category is the one category where I'm not quite sure. iPhone does some really incredible things with their software. They just do so much magic to make a tiny sensor look so much better than it should, especially with dynamic range. So the dynamic range is like the most impressive thing about the iPhone, I think. But then I feel like companies like Insta360 have kind of caught on to those same technologies, and they're putting some of that now into these cameras. So the image is a lot nicer than we used to have. And this is a bigger sensor than this, so I don't know. I honestly feel like in some situations, this is better image quality. In some situations, this is a lot better image quality. So it's this is not going to be satisfying, but I feel like it's kind of a tie.
iPhone versus Go Ultra. There's one thing I didn't mention about the iPhone is that when you use the best cameras, you can't see what you're filming, whereas on the Ultra you can see. So that is a huge difference. I will also say that the iPhone does have multiple lenses, which the Go Ultra does not. I end up using the ultra wide almost all the time, and so it doesn't really make that big of a difference for me, but it is still a difference. Some people really, really like the other cameras, so that is something to keep in mind, obviously. And yes, I look as stupid as you might think holding an iPhone and another camera together riding on one wheel. Yeah, it's fine.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I was just saying to my camera that I look just as stupid as you might think holding an iPhone, awesome. Another camera, awesome, one-wheeling around like an idiot. But thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Do you mind if I get a photo with you?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Always cool seeing people that know your videos. Never gets old. It's always a surprise. Like, wait, there's actual people that watch. It's not just numbers on YouTube. It's actual people. That is weird. And then there was like a connection to Isaac's sister. Oh, that's cool. All right, what does it look like? Pure video, which is like their low light setting. So if it's really dark, which it's pretty late now, sun has set, it's blue hour. And so this would be using the new chip in here to really clean up the shadows and, you know, get a little bit more using post in camera. That makes sense. Oh, look at this thing. So sick. I saw Gene Potato Jet get into the dirt biking stuff. It is incredible. Look at this. Beautiful. This would be without pure video. So now we're without pure video. This is just the normal video mode. No magic, software magic sprinkled onto the footage to make it better in low light.
So does this unseat the king of the lifestyle cameras? I don't know, you tell me. I feel like, hey, this is sponsored, so I feel weird giving any like definitive, you know, like you should do this or you should do that. I just kind of try to like, here is information, you make the decisions. And in the end, it is your money. And I always feel a little bit bad when people are like, I bought that camera because of you, or I bought that thing because of you. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. Honestly, I'm torn because this is so convenient, but then this is very interesting, and a lot of people are already using the Go as their like lifestyle camera, and maybe they've figured out the secret. Or maybe I'll just stick to, I don't know. Do what you want with this information, and if you have any better suggestions for this category of lifestyle cameras, please submit your suggestions. We gotta figure out a better name. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye. It's pretty cool. I can't believe we have cameras that are like this is so high quality, so interesting, and so cool. I love camera technology. Were you guys impressed by me putting the camera in a can and how I made that happen? I'm sure a lot of people were like, wait, how did you do that? The shot wasn't the best. It was all right, but it wasn't the best. But I tried.